Alright, YouTube family, what is up, everyone? I told you guys that I'd be bringing you a new series in which we kind of go one-on-one in terms of all the different things that I try to teach you guys in terms of being better at fighting games. So I brought in my friend Xman, who is a really good friend of mine. We've been playing a lot of fighting games together lately, mainly on Tekken, but now he's kind of made the jump over to Injustice and looking to be competitive. But X, talk a little bit about some of the other games that you played before coming over to Injustice.
Well, recently I just had my Dark Souls and Bloodborne binge, which I think is really what spawned me into getting into more of the combat style of video games. Because in those type of games, man, not a lot of people beat them. So they're very difficult, very challenging. You take a lot of L's and you learn from your mistakes ultimately. So I was playing that. Smite, Battlefield 1 was still on my playthrough as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the most part. Glad to finally be getting back into fighting games thanks to Rome B and Strike Freedom.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm glad to have you, man, because it's one of those things where I often need, people around that can kind of push me a little bit, especially if it's someone that like I care about their opinion, or I care about actually doing well against them. So that's really exciting having some people that that are cool that I talk to that are actually going through the same grind, trying to get better and everything. So ultimately, what this series is mainly going to be about is me basically just I'll take a look at certain people's fighting styles, and I actually do this, in a ranked match too. If I notice that a player needs to work on something, like after I win or after, even if they win, I'll send them a message and say, hey, this is something you may want to work on, especially if you're trying to get better. And that's ultimately what this is. It's me kind of looking and seeing, oh, these are some things that you can work on. But also, it's not something that is restricted to a particular skill set. Normally my videos are geared towards kind of beginners, but at the end of the day, if someone's been playing this game for 10 years and they feel like, oh, this is something I want to work on, I definitely want to be able to help them, grind that stuff out as well. So that's ultimately what this series is about. It's one thing where I can give you guys tips on videos and everything, but bringing people in, whether it's a stranger, a friend, or one of you guys in the comment section, I want to be able to get in a practice mode like this and just help you work on whatever it is that you think is important. And just some tips that I see as a fighting game player, as a natural fighting game player. I can really get on any fighting game and be competitive to an extent, and I think that helps in terms of me trying to give up some advice to other people. So, X, did you have anything specifically that I had some things that in our early sparring match that I saw that we could work on. But if you have anything like right off the top of your head that you want to jump to first, we could definitely do that.
Okay, first, I think wall pressure. So like wall pressure defense and wall pressure offense.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely something I wanted to get to as well, because I noticed that you're using a character that's kind of defensive inherently, in terms of the different ways that he can move about the stage. But I wanted to get to a point where we can kind of focus on just some of your like true defense, which is basically blocking, backdashing, and punishes and stuff like that. So, but definitely, in terms of like some of the more defensive things, you're gonna want to learn the characters that you're going up against as well. For instance,
Right.
Batman. Most people are going to start a Batman combo with that jumping kick, and you need to high block it. So it's one of those things where, yeah, there's moves like this, and there's moves like this that's ultimately going to hit as an overhead. But from my experience, if I know that this is a combo starter, I need to block this at all cost, because if this goes through, yeah, I'm falling on the floor, but I can get up and block low or try to block high. Like, this is not a combo starter, but it's definitely something that's going to they're basically trying to force you to block low, or they'll do something like this. They're trying to force you to block low, so
Trying
that
to
when
get
you
a
finally
mix-up.
block, when you finally block low, they're gonna come in with this overhead, and I could take these all day, but if I let one of these get through, then
Yeah,
all of a
it's
sudden I've
dangerous.
lost all this health, and it just doesn't make sense. So I have the tendency to just make sure that for the most part you're trying your best to block this particular move here. So another thing, as far as learning your character, when you're in the corner, people are gonna hit you with this all day. And for the most part, you can, as long as you don't get, like, block high.
Alright.
Block high. Yeah, as long as you block high, you can get through that. But that's one of the pressures that people are going to try and get you with, because it's such a quick move. So, those are two things that it just comes with, especially in the corner, because not everybody wants to get you in the corner, actually. There's a lot of players who much rather play you out here. But the biggest thing about getting better at defensively is knowing the characters that you're going up against, and knowing that for the most part, yeah, people are going to have different types of mix-ups. Like, I've been working on that combo lately, as far as trying to get something different other than that. But most people who use the same type of characters are going online and looking at combos from competitive players, and they're mimicking those combos. So it just takes a little bit of just kind of getting your ass whooped, and kind of like just learning the different characters. It sucks because you don't get to see every character every session. So I go so many sessions without seeing like Poison Ivy, and then I go up against Poison Ivy and I get my ass whooped because I don't know how to defend against her yet.
Right.
But another good thing is, anytime you get an opportunity to learn defense against a player that you know you struggle defensively against, always take that opportunity. So if you go up against a good Batman, or you go up against a good Green Lantern or something, in ranked match or player match or something like that, always, if you can, people are really terrified of rematches in this game for some reason, but if you can, get them into a private session and just see how you can learn the different holes in their defense. So with that being said, we're going to reset here. And I'm basically going to go through some of the main combos that I try to get off. Also adding in a few mix-ups here and there. And then let's just get you in a rhythm of being able to block some of my main combo starters. So,
Alright, cool.
so I won't use trait, because that's and I probably won't use this very much. But yeah, let's do that. Because I noticed that you've done a good job of, as far as using your character's abilities to get around. But eventually, someone's gonna be right up here, and you got to be able to defend.
right.
You got to be able to defend yourself. So.
On the fly. That's the thing. Like, getting pressured in this game is way different than getting pressured in Tekken. In Tekken, there could be a quick drop, but like here in Injustice, one thing that I've noticed is, like, if somebody knows the combo and they start hitting that combo, they're going to hit that combo and extend it at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
And with me, like,
it's the first thing that people. It's the first thing that people do. The first thing that people do is try to perfect a combo. Then they bring it into ranked match or player match and see how it fares. But then they start working on defense. So, all right, let's get this thing started. Nice. Nice. Oh shit, I said I wasn't gonna use that. Sorry. Another thing about that about this attack X is it's kind of a duality attack. So you have to guess which direction to block. It's not always good. I mean, it's not always gonna work if you like block. It's not always gonna work if you just block back. For instance, if I get too far ahead and I'm on this side, it'll hit you on the other side. So that's what's difficult about this mix-up.
So Batman, it can hit it in like 2 or 3 different spots depending on the distance.
Yeah, yeah, mainly too. Just you gotta figure out whether or not you're blocking up top. I mean, if you're blocking straight up, or if you're predicting that they're gonna be on the other side, and then pushing forward, which would allow you to block the other side. So that's another difficult thing about this particular startup that kind of aggravates people. But it's another thing that you have to think about, especially when you're facing Batman characters. Mainly, as long as you're backdashing, you're kind of okay, because you know it's going to pretty much hit you forward. But there's instances where somebody will do something like this, and now you have a moment where you could have come up and blocked, but they can hit you on either side, and now it's like,
yo, hold on, do that one more time, because that just screwed me over in the head. Oh my, okay, yo, that was, oh man, all right, wow, that was a mind game.